What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I just ended up finishing Silent Hill 2 Remake on stream literally like a couple minutes ago, and I wanted to just give my raw thoughts on the remake. Like, nothing crazy, no like in-depth stuff yet. Maybe I'll make a video about that later, but I really just wanted to get my thoughts out there after beating it, pretty much immediately after, and just talk to you guys about my pretty much raw thoughts and just what I feel about the game, because there's a lot to talk about. This video is just going to be a freestyle, so I'm just going to start going and talking about things I really liked, things that, I really want to talk about. So let's get into it. The voice acting and casts is just so good. And to me, when I sit here and think about Silent Hill 2, one of my favorite parts of the original is the characters and the way they voice, their roles in the game, right? And, in this game, I thought that was going to be the hardest thing for them to recreate, was the bit of stiffness and awkwardness that the original voice acting has, but in a weird way it works, right? I thought that was going to be the hardest thing this game had to tackle, but that's far from it. But in terms of the voice acting and, the actors, I'd say it's, in terms of something else I'll mention as well, it's probably my second favorite thing in the game. I thought they did a really good job, like I said. It was the one thing I was most concerned about, was the voice acting and getting the characters to feel right, because for me, the original, that's pretty much my favorite part about it, is just how the characters interact. It's very unique to its time, but it's something that I thought Team Bloober could not pull off, and they proved me wrong, dude. And that was really cool to be surprised by. It's just an amazing cast. So, I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think about that. But moving on, another thing I want to talk about is how they handle just the overall atmosphere of Silent Hill 2, right? That was also something I was kind of worried about, when this game first got announced. I was like, damn, bro, how are they gonna pull this off? Silent Hill 2 to me is one of the hardest games, in terms of recreating that atmosphere, because we've seen how other devs, besides Team Silent, has tackled Silent Hill. And it's up to you if you like games like Shattered Memories, Origins, all those other games. They do have merit, but one thing I always felt was missing from those games was the environment and the way it made me feel when it comes to like looking at the Team Silent's games, right? They have such a unique feel with their soundtrack and just the sound design, where in this game I feel like all of that clicked together with this game's atmosphere. It actually really worked. This game is probably like just as good as the original in terms of atmosphere and, looking at each area and looking at how they changed it. Like, because it's still a lot of this game is pretty much the same, but there's a lot of differences, like new additions as well, which is something I wanted to see playing this game, because as much as I just want to sit here and look at, the exact same formula, the same areas, I'm glad that they changed it up. And speaking of changing it up, I gotta mention the highlight of this game for me, in terms of when I sit here and I think back on this remake and playing through a section of the game, my favorite part, that they remade in this game was Angela's, father's boss fight. In the original, this was just very much in its own little room, and it wasn't, it's not their fault, because they're working on the hardware that they were working on, but in this game, dude, they went above and beyond to really hammer in how they want you to feel with Angela's, character, right? And that boss is way more disturbing in this game, because we understood it in the original for sure, but playing it here, I was really disturbed, like way more. In terms of like redoing a boss fight, that was my highlight of this game if I had to choose one, although there's a lot more I could get into. But dude, that fight is something I'm gonna remember, because like that, they just did it so well. And when it comes to that, this game has so much like attention to detail, man. Like, there's a lot of Easter eggs in this game, and I don't even think I found all of them, because when I was playing through this was just my first playthrough. I was just kind of going through it. I found a couple secrets here and there, like, Walter Sullivan stuff, Silent Hill 3 references. I'm sure there was a Silent Hill 1 reference in there that I can't remember, but there was a lot of small details, even, referencing old puzzles, like, was really cool to see. I'm like, yo, I remember that puzzle. I'm glad that they put stuff like that in there, because I thought it was pretty cool to give us callbacks and not completely just like remove stuff from the game and stuff like that. And, you know, mentioning puzzles too. I thought the puzzles in this game on normal difficulty were pretty fun. I had to, you know, use a notepad like the old days. It was fun doing that, especially on stream. I had help as well. So that was really cool. I enjoyed the puzzles of this game. And another thing I should mention is just the pace of the game. This game is pretty much 2 times as long, depending on who plays it, right? Like this game, for me, it took about 20 hours, or I could check right now on screen how long this game took me to beat. Yeah, about like 20 hours roughly. And, you know, that was just me playing it, not really going slow, not going fast either, just playing it, you know, like normally, right? And the original is like half of that, bro. I can beat the original in like, the first time I played it, I beat it in like 8 hours, I think. But, you know, once you know the game, you can beat it in way quicker time. So in terms of the pacing of this game, it's longer. Some people might not like that. They're like, oh, dude, these areas feel too prolonged. And, you know, my opinion might change as I replay this game because I'm definitely going to. And I felt the pacing was all right. Maybe there was a few areas where I'm like, okay, you know, it's getting a little long. But I'd say my favorite areas were the prison. The prison was really good. Really, really good, in fact. I actually really enjoyed the prison. I'd say the area I didn't enjoy that much is probably the apartments, but I never really enjoyed the apartments in the original anyways. You know, if I had to choose an area that I don't enjoy that much, but regardless, the high point for me was the prison and, you know, the memorial center and all that stuff. That was my favorite part. Just that entire ending of the game was really, really, like, in terms of just areas, and we're not talking story and, like, you know, interactions. In terms of just the area itself, the prison was my favorite. So let me know what you guys think. What was your favorite area? You know, there's a lot more to talk about. And of course, you know, if I had to mention one more thing, is the music. The music to me was a big reason why I fell in love with the first or with the second Silent Hill. The music and the soundtrack is just so memorable, man. I think one thing that they definitely didn't, you know, capitalize on is not having the opening, you know, to the original. Because for me, the opening of Silent Hill 2 is probably a part of the game I remember the most when I sit here and I think about Silent Hill 2, the opening. And you guys know the opening. If you've played this game, you know what I'm talking about. It's very memorable. It's so well done and put together. I was very surprised to see that they did not choose to include that. But actually, there is I'll probably link it in the description if I remember. There's somebody who uploaded a full remake as close as to the original as possible, but on the Silent Hill 2, you know, engine or gameplay, whatever, right? They fully recreated it and it was really well done. So I'll link that in the description. Check that out, because if you're someone who's played the original and you're missing the opening, that's gonna, you know, quench your thirst for that. So in terms of this game as a whole, though, if I had to look at it as a whole and, you know, thinking about it as somebody who is not into the series, or just, you know, kind of taking away my bias, because I really like this game, obviously. It's one of the best horror games. I think most people think that. One of the best horror games ever made, the original. Looking at it from somebody who's just like, you know, getting into it for the first time, I think this is a good way to play the remake, or Silent Hill 2 in general. I think anybody who's even interested in this series, or even want to, you know, have heard about this game, doesn't know if they want to try it. If you like psychological horror, you like horror that's not so much in your face, because a lot of the scares in this game, there's jump scares here and there, of course, but for me, the environments and just the way sounds work in this game, all of that, if you want something that's just a lot more, just takes its time with its scares and really builds up to some of them, and just if you really love good environments, good music, really good voice acting and characters, a good soundtrack, of course, and, you know, even the gameplay, I kind of forgot to mention, is not bad. You know, it's serviceable. It's definitely like not my, you know, it's not the best thing. It's not Devil May Cry 5, but, you know, that's not even a comparison. But it's serviceable. I enjoyed it. All I gotta say is screw those the legs, the mannequin legs or whatever, bro. If you've played the game, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, as a whole, this is something that I would recommend to anybody who's even wanting to get into the series. And this is pretty much all I wanted as, like, somebody who enjoys the original. Is I wanted more people to play this game, because playing the original, you know, if you need to get a PS2, that's kind of difficult, because you could play the remaster, but that's, in most people's eyes, not the best way to experience Silent Hill 2. And to me, I can confidently say that playing this remake is just as good as the original, if not a bit better in some aspects, you know. And maybe I'll make a video on that in the future, talking about things in depth. I really enjoyed this game. It's everything I wanted out of a Silent Hill 2 remake. I'm gonna replay it. I don't know how many times I'm gonna replay it, but I'm definitely going to, because there's so much more I missed, I'm sure, and there's so many secrets in this game I feel like I glossed over. There's so much more to just digest. Even the original I've replayed many times, and each time I find something a bit different. So yeah, those are just my raw thoughts after beating the game. Have you guys played it yourselves? Do you plan on playing it? Have you beaten it? What do you think about it? I'm just curious. If you guys want to throw your thoughts in the comments, let me know. I'm going to be having a Silent Hill 1 video come out soon. And yeah, I'm happy to say this was a good remake. Bloober team did a good job. And yeah, I couldn't have asked for more, man. Here's to some more good Silent Hill games in the future, because that's ultimately what we all want, right? So yeah, let me know your thoughts. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Peace out.